When an individual begins abusing drugs or alcohol, it doesn't stay a secret for long. In fact, studies have shown that behaviors change drastically during addiction, and it can happen quickly. This is because addiction triggers major changes in the brain. Natural things that would once bring a person joy and excitement can no longer compare to the feeling they get when they use their substance of choice. While an individual may have engaged in healthy activities and kept up with their close relationships before, they may no longer pursue those healthy things, and they'll tend to neglect the relationships with those closest to them. Where these addictive behaviors may at one point have been seen as a result of a person's inherent immortality, we are now becoming more aware of how substance abuse changes the brain and triggers the cycle of addiction. We also understand more about risk factors that would lead a person to become addicted in the first place. These risk factors are things such as a history of addiction in the family, trauma, or any other type of abuse. A lot of people get caught up on the disease or choice debate, without realizing that there are plenty of other diseases that happen as a result of initial choice. That being said, the frustration that comes along with loving someone who is addicted to drugs or alcohol is understandable. Addiction affects not only the person addicted, but everyone around that person. Dealing with a loved one who is addicted to alcohol or drugs is, well, hard. Their behavior can be crazy, erratic, and difficult to deal with, and it's because of the way addiction has affected their brain. Substances that are commonly abused tend to offer euphoric feelings of well-being that influence an individual's mood. We know that both legal and illegal substances can be abused, thus developing an addiction or physical and mental dependency. Developing a dependency on a substance can cause negative consequences to both the body and the person's life. This dependency is expressed in a type of behavior that negatively impacts the way they view themselves, others, and life in general. If left untreated, drug or alcohol addiction can only get worse over time. Chronic substance abuse leads to the changes in the brain and neural pathways. The brain releases chemicals or hormones when basic needs are met, such as hunger, thirst, and sex, which leads us to repeat those behaviors over and over again. Those neurochemicals that are commonly associated with this type of reward pleasure system in the brain are dopamine, serotonin, and glutamine. The same set of neurochemicals are released with the consumption of alcohol and drugs that create a sense of pleasure or a change in mood. This is what's known as a reward, or the payoff. Over time, the continued stimulation of the pleasure center chemicals causes changes to the reward, motivation, and memory centers. Once the body and the brain become dependent on the payoffs of these chemicals, it becomes necessary to abuse the substance in order to just feel normal and function properly. Without the substance, the person experiences cravings and an intense desire for the substance and will use it despite negative or even dangerous consequences. The ability to make normal and healthy choices becomes hijacked as interest is lost in other life activities. Self-care, caring for others, and taking care of responsibilities become less important, which leads to relationship strain, financial stress, and/or legal problems. Once the brain has been affected and changed by an addiction, the ability to make sound and healthy choices becomes impaired. This impairment is not often noticed by the addicted individual, but by those who are closest to them. If you have a loved one who is struggling, you can begin this process by staging an intervention, which is an effective way to convey your message of love and get your loved one on the road to recovery. We encourage you to give us a call today. Our interventionists are standing by, ready to help you plan an effective intervention. Please feel free to comment, like, or subscribe to our channel.